So if we talk about digital product traceability, so that's a sort of digital thread right from conception to retirement, essentially. So PDC has had requirements management in some way or form, once again, for many years. And with what they've done, it's always been integrated to some level with Windchill. And even those in the requirement management that aren't Wind or PDC in nature, like doors. So what they've done with 12 really is streamline that integration, if you want, and they've basically gone to ThingWorx as the technology for that. So what that does is it in the first instance, it makes the interaction between the systems a lot more seamless, if you want. Whereas in the past, if you wanted to see an action in the Windchill environment that is done in the requirement management tool like Integrity or RVNS, as it's called nowadays, you had to go basically commit it or upload it if you're familiar with the sort of Creo or CAD terminology. Whereas now those changes and statuses and things will be immediate available in the Windchill UI. So it's a lot quicker at interaction. The additional, and that's obviously goes for Windchill Modeler, RVNS, and the IBM Doors requirement management tool. The next bit there is some of the types of data that comes from the requirement management tools that were available in the Windchill UI, like rich text format, model functions, etc., etc. All of those can now be incorporated into a single table in Windchill, which once again makes it a lot easier for the user to see and interpret what's going on. And then once again, and linking to that now once again in a consolidated type UI is tracing it back to problem reports and variances. So if you in your requirements management tool, there's now a dynamic link against, say, a problem report or a variance being raised in the Windchill environment. So you don't need to, it lessens the need to swap or switch between applications, really. So once again, the moral of the story here is PDC has gone out of its way to try and improve those efficiencies. Next slide, Alan. Thank you. All right, so the next one is around the medical device, what PDC is doing for the medical device industry. And once again, it's the same sort of story that PDC has had a med device template for many years, and they have, with 12, once again, improved it, added some additional stuff in there. And Illum are using some of these things as mentioned earlier. So there's some additional certified or pre-configured ISO processes in, so you buy it and you use it. And I think that's been a bit of an eye-opener for some of our customers. So obviously these processes are predefined, but you can actually go and change them. But that's obviously with medical devices that leads down the rabbit hole of validation and verification and things like that. So if you want to go down that route, be aware. The next thing is that it sort of expands to include more bits of the whole digital product definition. And so it links in more, once again, with ThingWorx into AR and IoT, et cetera, et cetera. So there's an expansion of that whole framework. And Alan will talk about this a little bit later, as there's a framework for extensions, but PDC is available. So what happens is there's one side, there's apps that gets released, and the other side is the whole framework can be expanded to suit your environment or your specific needs if required. I think that's it, Alan. Next one. All right, so I picked 2 bits, which I know is the bugbear of med device companies. That's something that has to be done, but it's always a schlep or a hassle. The DHF and DMR. So with the Windchill from 11.1 and some improvements now in 12, there's the ability to automatically, first of all, create a DHF. So that's really, as you build your product and you release your product, your DHF is maintained, updated, and created. And you can, that in itself is an object in Windchill, so it's got the full lifecycle management against it. So version control, access control, all of that sort of stuff. And then obviously you can export that to a PDF if needed. Next one, Alan. All right, and then from your DHF, you can proceed to create a DMR as and when required. Once again, all controlled, all linked, single source of the truth. And then obviously you can go and export that into some sort of usable format if need be, like a PDF or what have you.